ჩვენს პროექტს ქვია SPOTNOTES. ეს არის პროექტი, რომელიც მიზნად ისახავს იმას, რომ შევცვალოთ ის თუ როგორ ურთიერთობთ სივრცესთან, მას შევცვალოთ მოგზაურობთ, ან უბრალოდ ვართ გარემოში. და ამას ახერხებს მეთოდით, რომ სივრცეში განვათავსოთ ინფორმაცია ხალხის მიერ შექმნილი და გავაზიაროთ ეს ინფორმაცია და მივიღოთ მეტი ინფორმაცია იმის შესახებ, თუ რა ხდება ჩვენს გარშემო. ეს ყველაფერი რა თქმა უნდა დაფუძნებული არის ინტერნეტზე, მაგრამ თვითონ პროდუქტი არის მობილური აპლიკაცია. მე ვფიქრობ, რომ ჩვენი პროექტი მიუხედავად იმისა, რომ არის საკმაოდ საწყის ეტაპზე, არის საკმაოდ ამბიციური და არის გლობალური. და აქედან გამომდინარე, მე ვფიქრობ, რომ საკმაოდ კარგი შანსები. მე ვფიქრობ, რომ ეს არის გამოცდილება, რომელიც ჯერჯერობით სამყაროში არ არსებობს და ვფიქრობ, რომ ეს გააუმჯობესებს ცხოვრების ხარისხს ზოგადად მსოფლიოში. სამყარის გახდის უფრო საინტერესოს.
Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Irakli, and I want to tell you about an idea about changing the way we interact with space. I travel as much as I can, and on one occasion in Antwerp, Belgium, I was sitting on this bench in a beautiful city square, and I realized just how much content there is around me. There's so much emotions and memories associated with these places around the world, and I have no access to any of that. And that's when I had this idea, what if there was an application that would allow users to make notes, tag them to the locations, and make them available for other users to discover. So in this way, we could fill up spaces with personalized information and share insights about all the locations around the world. How much more rich our experiences of travel would be if we could connect to places anywhere we go. So we started to develop SPOTNOTES as a mobile application to do just that, to allow users to make notes, geotag them to a location, and make them available for other users to discover. So during the last decade, there have been several attempts to enrich space with information, let's say. And none of them have quite succeeded to make this world that I just described a reality. And our take on the reason why is that all these projects provided somewhat dry, institutionalized kind of information or commercial kind of information. And we believe that exploring space is not about getting the information, because if you want to find information about a place, you can Google it and information is there, but that's not what excites us. Exploration is about the discovery, the human connection. And that's how we came up with our mantra, and we are aiming to build a space where people can share their personalized insights into the world about the whole world. So our team, the core of our team is made of two people. We are skilled in communications, marketing, and as well as in design and art direction. We have by our side two consultants, very nice people. They are, yeah, I wanted to say something else. They have a world-class experience in software development and financial analysis. And together with this team, we have developed our goal to create the space where people would share their personal insights of the world. So on our way, we are developing our design. We are developing the user experience. And but in order for this experience to be established and then spread through the world, we need to first make sure that it exists in a single spot, somewhere in the world, in one place, for it to fully exist. So that's why we want to establish this project here in Georgia, to use this experience to further expand it throughout the world. So for this reason, we're connecting with companies and individuals and building up our network. So by the time of our launch, we have content and we have partners to start with. So our business model is based on the freemium principle. There is a free basic account that provides all the necessary functionality, which will ensure low friction and that users contribute and add to the content of the network. There is a pro account for the users who want to use the network for promotion and publication, and there is a business account for companies who would like to create interactive experiences and actually sell information on the network. More about that later, maybe. And we are conducting an ongoing market research, about the local market here in Georgia, so to make sure that this project can be implemented in a profitable way. There are certain components that we need in order to make our next steps. We need to develop our prototype. We need to get it tested and to try to increase the content as much as we can, and for that we need the following components. And as you can see, most of it is quite cheap here in Georgia, and that is why we want to use this space as our testing ground for this project and launch it here. But our belief in this project and what it can bring to the world is what really drives us. And we see SPOTNOTES as a platform revolutionizing the way we can interact with places and people, and transforming the world into a more understandable and exciting place. Thank you. Please.
I have a design question, because I used to be a designer. So let's say you're extremely successful, and everybody who goes to Paris wants to use it. Yep. Let's not say everybody, but a lot of people. And you have thousands of notes right in the square in front of Notre Dame Cathedral. Do you have filters? Because I can't look at my environment if there are thousands of notes all over it.
Yep. We're thinking of several types and considering several types of filters for that, and some of them we think that should be embedded in the very beginning are to filter information based on content. I mean, based on if the information is just personal or if it's some cultural or historical context or such. And then we can filter information based on time, when the note was made, and also have rating based on the feedback on the notes.
So do you have some kind of semantic or natural language processing so you can tell what the content is?
No, we want to have the users tag the notes themselves. Yeah.
But you have to find it, because it would be quite difficult for the user to look at thousands of notes.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
On any service, you have a reason to look. Like if you look at booking, you're looking at the right tag. Yeah? Here, a reading of thousands of notes, which may not be useful for me.
Yep.
And there's a discovery function. So, I read the notes that were on your square in Belgium, and one was like, oh, there's great falafels around the corner behind there. I wouldn't necessarily, as a visitor, be looking for the best falafels, but I would be interested to know that somebody said that. So I don't know how to balance the discovery function versus having too much content.
Yeah, that is one of the challenges that we have.
So there is something, I don't know if in Google Earth, they have all this kind of layers where you can easily click. I want to see this type of terrain, I want to see this type of pictures or whatever. So you can basically let it user choose preference, and then you see the layers, because if you have all of them on, you don't even see the Earth. It's all covered. Exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah, so the tagging function is very important here to get that, so that people can screen on the things that are most important to them.
I have a data structure question that's slightly similar. I stuck to this example. The best falafel in town is just around that yellow building to the west. So for that to work, then that note will be tagged to that bridge.
Yep.
So are you following kind of the Foursquare approach and potentially be using Foursquare data where you're linking the note to a unique sort of registered location, or you're linking it to a sort of a geographic coordinates?
Well, the mechanism is that we don't link them to any registered location. We want to have these nodes scattered all around the world just by GPS location.
To reinforce her point, you may want to really follow that pathway of the influencer or the travel blogger or the expert, because what's going to happen is that when she's standing there, there's going to be, you should walk around the corner. You should walk around the corner to that falafel, turn and look to the right, it's beautiful. My grandfather built this bridge. And if you have a lot of people leaving those notes, the world will be a train wreck. Like, there'll just be stuff everywhere. And so, like, if I'm following Deborah, who I think is an experienced traveler who explores places that she travels, Deborah's somebody that, I mean, just an example, like, you know, I'm following advice from an expert, right?
Right.
Versus like everybody. So just something to think about.
That's
that, like,
very different from your original point, which was there are all these memories here. And so if you're making this very personal and trying to experience the thoughts and memories and emotions of the people who were there, that's completely different from what you just described.
Yeah, and actually the goal of
and
this
that's
project...
a real design problem.
Yeah, that's the goal of this project, to share that kind of personal input more, because there is so much content on the internet, and but there is just this dry information. We hardly can relate to it, and I believe that if we fill up the space with more emotional content, then even the cluttering of the information won't be a problem that much, even though I believe that we have to separate it somehow and make it more user-friendly. But even if I have all this info, I'm just trying to get an emotional input and just understand what is the place that I'm in right now. This is the feeling that I had, because even though the visual of the places is sometimes so rich and culturally dense, we can't grasp the content of it somehow. And I want to start this project, and we're starting this project to fix that somehow.
I think that's delightful, and it's very different from what other travel sites do, so that's a good thing. I just think the design is very difficult.
So tell me about your two successful startups. What did they do in a short?
Oh, yeah. One of my projects was actually a first hostel chain in Georgia. And the next year, after our startup, we became the Tourism Project of the Year. And we contributed a lot to development of tourism in Georgia. And the second one was actually a non-governmental NGO. And I started it way back in 2001, and it was aiming to help refugees, and we received an award from IRC for that work.
Very nice.
Thank you.
So a question related to priming the pump, getting things started.
Yep.
What are your thoughts, or how do you get this pump flowing water?
Yeah, I think I missed that one there. We want to connect to people and to make a network and to explain the possibilities that this project can bring to them. And for starters, we want to have some content before we make our launch. So we are aiming to have around 10,000, and we have figured out a way how to get that, 10,000 notes of this kind throughout Tbilisi. So we already have this content, and by the time of our launch, people don't come into an empty restaurant, you know. Just
Great. Very good. Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks for the feedback.
And he also said we would do it with 100 companies.
კონსტრუქციული შენიშვნები იყო ძალიან საინტერესო. გარკვეული საკითხები, რომელზეც ჩვენთანაც გვიფიქრია, რაღაცები, რაც ახალი იყო ჩემთვის, საკუთარი ხალხი, რომელსაც აქვს ძალიან დიდი გამოცდილება და ძალიან სასიამოვნოა, რომ შეგვიძლია ამ გამოცდილების გაზიარება. ნებისმიერი შეკითხვა ჩვენი პროექტისთვის ახლა არის საინტერესო, იმიტომ რომ ეს წარმოშობს რაღაც თემებს, რომელზეც ჩვენ უნდა ვიფიქროთ და თუ არის რაღაც შეკითხვა, რომელზეც პასუხი არ გვაქვს, ესე იგი ამ თემაზე უნდა ვიფიქროთ და განვავითაროთ.